Sgt D is coming, and you're on his list. This is episode 12 of I Love This Album, and Sgt D, of course, that's me. That's Sergeant Dan Bowski. I'm coming for you, and you're on my list. And this is my list of it's not a list, but it's a bunch of albums that I really, really love. And today, as you can see, I'm going to talk about S.O.D. That would be Stormtroopers of Death, for those of you who don't know this band, or who can't read the title below. And their album, this album I'm going to talk about today, is from 1985, and it's called Speak English or Die. And I can tell you, this is going to contain a lot of salty language. There's going to be a lot of bad words in this one. Not from me. I'm just quoting the album. But there are. This is an album that if you know this album, this couldn't exist today. And if you don't know this album, you're maybe going to understand by the time I get through it why it couldn't exist today. But it's a great one, obviously. For those who don't know, S.O.D, Stormtroopers of Death. It's Scott Ian and Charlie Benante from Anthrax, and Dan Lilker, who was freshly out of Anthrax at the time they did this album, I think, and Billy Milano, who ended up doing, of course, S.O.D. He was most famous for. They were a New York band. This is possibly could be the heaviest album I've ever heard in my life. It's just brutally heavy. I would say maybe this and Pantera, Far Beyond Driven, maybe Rain in Blood. Those are contenders for the heftiest, mightiest albums that you'll probably ever hear in your life, or at least that I've heard in my life. And it came about. It was kind of a side project. Anthrax was recording Spreading the Disease, or I think they had just finished recording it, and Scott Ian, I guess, had some leftover material, and it's heavy in that sense, like Anthrax, and fast and thrashy, but it's also very different from Anthrax, a little bit punk, and I think later people only referred to it as crossover between thrash and punk. Anyway, I'll talk a little bit about my introduction to S.O.D. I first heard S.O.D. I remember it very well, and it was sometime in I don't know when this album came out. I know it came out in 1985. I don't know exactly when. I think it was pretty late in the year. I heard it maybe in the summer, I would guess. And there was a guy, I've talked about this guy before. He's called Brian Taylor. He had a radio show in Toronto on CKLN 88.1 on your FM dial, University in Toronto radio station, and he had a show that was on Tuesday nights at 11, and it was called Aggressive Rock or Arg Rock, and he used to play stuff like this. He played punk and metal and thrash and everything like that. I've talked about him with King's X. I heard King's X through Brian Taylor and his show, and some others too. And I used to stay up every Tuesday and tape it. And at that time, I remember I was anticipating the next Metallica album. I had been a Metallica fan. I got Kill 'Em All at the end of 1983, so I was a Metallica fan at that point for, I guess, getting close to 2 years. And Ride the Lightning had come out, I guess, a year earlier in '84. And I guess there was talks about a new Metallica album was coming soon. So I heard the first song that I heard. Brian Taylor played the opening song, and I'll show it. This is Speak English or Die. The opening song, it's a March of the S.O.D, kind of a mashup of March of the S.O.D and Sgt D and the S.O.D. So he played that. So that opening riff, and I'm not doing it any justice at all. I thought, this must be the new Metallica, because it was heavy, and then it was just to me it sounded, it's crazy to think now, but I thought this has got to be the new Metallica. And then at the end he said, that was a band called S.O.D. So that was my introduction to S.O.D. in the probably, I would guess, spring now, maybe later in that, summer or fall of 1985. And then I got this album. I bought it. Probably it was one of the first. Probably I bought it shortly after I heard it. And so that was, and I had already been an Anthrax fan at that point for also since the beginning, 1984. So I loved it. So getting to this album, this was painted by Charlie Benante. This is the title character. This is Sgt. D. I talked last week in the last episode about Overkill, Under the Influence, and I mentioned that it maybe had the best bass, at least the best thrash metal bass tone that I'd ever heard, except for one other one. Well, in case you were wondering, and I'm sure you weren't, this is probably my favorite, or this album has my favorite bass tone of any album. Metal, thrash metal for sure. The bass on this is just killer. Dan Lilker's bass, he I guess it was kind of, it ended up being similar on when I heard Nuclear Assault sometime later. But the bass tone on this favorite, it's the heaviest album, best bass tone, maybe best guitar tone too. Scott Ian's guitar tone on this is just incredible. Charlie Benante's drums, everything is perfect. So getting to this, so the first song, or first kind of two songs together, March of the S.O.D, which is it's not really an instrumental or an introduction to me. It's just, to me, I think of it as one song, and it's I'm going to talk about, I love a lot of these the lyrics on this album. As I mentioned, you maybe couldn't do this kind of album now. Ruthless and vicious, he'll stomp on your face. Deadly malicious, stay out of his space. He'll rip your heart out, don't you look the wrong way. And once you meet him, there's no time to pray. He'll beat you senseless and break out the whips. He'll crack your elbows and crush your fingertips. He'll make you wish that you didn't exist because Sgt. D is coming and you're on his list. He'll kill your... Now, what comes after that? Go to the lyrics. I just need the first words. What was that after that? Don't cut the line because he'll cut off your legs. Don't take your time. You'll spend time with the dead. Don't try and trick him because he'll fill you with lead. Don't beg for mercy. He'll piss on your head. He'll kill your sister and mail back her tits. He'll beat you senseless and break out the whips. He'll make you wish that you didn't exist because Sgt. D is coming and you're on his list. That's an anthem. That should be a song that stadiums full of people are singing because Sgt. D is coming and you're on his list. He'll pour gas on your kids, then throw them a match. He'll back the car over grandma and dissect her cat. With the stormtroopers of death, he'll come to your town. Their Uzis rip right through your flesh. It's time to chow down. The cause is justified. The reason is clear. What comes after that? The cause is justified. The reason is clear. Way too small. I can't read that. Impossible. But I love that one. That's and Anthrax has done that in recent years. They've kind of thrown it in a little bit. At least the introduction instrumental part of the March of the S.O.D, we can call it. Next is Kill Yourself. Can't Take It, Never Could. Time to End You. Time. I gotta do it slowly. Can't Take It. It's a song about killing yourself. Can't take it, never could. Time to end it. Wish you would. Friends and family, they're all gone. Life for you is such a con. Dig yourself a hole in the ground. Push up daisies 6 feet down. Buy a dirt farm. No. Take a dirt nap. Buy the farm. Inject a bubble in your arm. Kill yourself. Kill yourself. Why don't you kill yourself? Don't rely on someone else. End it all. Kill yourself. What was the second chorus? Hopefully not gonna do this for every song. I have to look at these tiny lyrics. Who cares? Life is just a one-way ticket. Everyone must go around. Here's a bucket. Go and kick it. When you go, don't make a sound. There's no way I can read this. When you go to no dramatics, no big play. Don't you know that we'll all feel better once you've gone away? And then you're a loser, a worthless loser at everything you do. You're a loser at everything you do, a worthless loser at everything you do, something like that. I'm embarrassing myself with these lyrics. Milano Mosh, can you do the Milano Mosh? Can you do the Danbowski Mosh? Speak English or Die. Mr. Bungle just redid that last year on their new album, kind of old album, Raging Wrath of the Easter Bunny. Speak Spanish or Die. That's one of the ones that you couldn't do now. It was oh God, it's always so hard. I need just one word. What's the first word of Speak English or Die? Oh, I'm gonna have to look again. I could never be a singer. That's one of the reasons why I could never be. You come into this country, you can't get real jobs. Boats and boats and boats of you go home, you fucking slobs. Selling hot dogs on the corner. Selling hot dogs on the corner. Selling papers in the street. Pushing, pulling, digging, sweating. Where you come from, you must be beat, I think. You always make us wait, you can't communicate. You are the ones we hate. Speak English or die. You don't know what I want, you don't know what I need. Must I always repeat myself? Can't you fucking read? Nice fucking accent, why can't you speak like me? What's that dot on your head? Do you use it to see? Man, you can't say that now. And speaking of this, I'll take a break from reciting lyrics. And these are really, really fast songs, super fast. When I heard this album, and for years after that, I listened to it with my friends, and we thought it was pretty funny, but it was also really, really serious. It wasn't Steel Panther or I don't know, Scatterbrain or something like that. Like it was they were funny, but the music was dead serious. There was nothing funny about S.O.D's music. Next was United Forces. No rednecks, no jocks, no rednecks, no jocks, no macho bullshit attitude. United Forces can't be stopped. Charlie, and then Charlie takes the lead. Chromatic Death. Just nothing much to say about that. Pi Alpha Nu, maybe the fastest one. Anti-procrastination song, 2 or 3 seconds. What's that noise? Here she comes! I always kind of wondered if that was a song. If you know this album, you know this song. It was my friends and I, we always, said, what the fuck is that? What's that fucking noise? We were quoting this all the time. And at kind of near the beginning, it's Billy Milano, and he says, here she comes! Like, I guess, I don't know if they actually had a song with those lyrics, here she comes, and he was singing it, or if Billy Milano was just, ad-libbing that to make it seem like he was singing a song, and then the noise, I guess, what's that noise, comes in his headphones, and he's, what the fuck, Alex? What the fuck is that noise? Alex Perialis. Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger was a big deal at that time in the kind of metal community. S.O.D then later did a song a year or 2 years later called Man of Your Dreams, which is also about Freddy Krueger. His hand spells death. He breathes his vile breath. No way you can stop him once. No, his hand spells death. He breathes his vile breath. No way you can stop him. No. I got to go again to these tiny microscopic lyrics. No way you can stop him once he's out. He haunts your sleep. In the tub he hides down deep. He'll, God, I'm terrible at this. He'll rip your face and no one hears that. He'll come for you, what will you do? He'll slash you and rip you and cut you in two. He'll come for you, what will you do? He'll slash you and rip you and cut you in two. As the blood begins to splat on his sweater, on his hat, his rotted mouth smiles as you die. His colors are red and green. His skin's not what it seems. Something, I can't remember. Getting back, maybe I should just stop with the lyrics, but I love singing along. It's much easier when you're listening to it. Milk, brutally fast song, very, very fast. I want some milk, my coffee grows cold. I want some milk, I should have been told. I wish I had some goddamn milk. My Cheerios just ain't the same. I wish I had some goddamn milk. Too bad the milkman never came. Premenstrual Princess Blues, man, that must be one of the most, I can't say offensive, but one of the rudest. It's the rudest songs on this album, sung in a very high, screechy, mocking female voice. Irving, where are my maxi pads? Help me find them before I paint the whole house red. You men have it so easy. I wish you could feel this just once. I'm passing clots the size of basketballs. And did I miss something there? And then the second verse, I said I wasn't going to do this, but I keep doing it. I can't help myself. Oh God, it's stained right through my new dress. God damn it, why'd this happen now? I can't go out like this. I look like I've been shot. Oh, you're hungry, are you? Well, come here, Irving, darling. How about a Bloody Mary? You can't really say that anymore, which is fine. I mean, it's still a great album, but you can't, I think, get away with that anymore. Pussy Whipped, that's another one. Pussy Whipped, Pussy. That's really, really fast. What's the first line of that one? And I should say a lot of these songs have great, incredible, just really, really amazing. Anthrax, I think, as far as I know, coined the term mosh parts. The first time I saw that, I can't remember if S.O.D had it in the lyrics where it said mosh part, where there would normally be a solo. Anthrax for sure had it on Among the Living. I think that was the first time I remember seeing that. But yeah, this album is full of these mosh parts, which were kind of, I guess, just like riffs and really upbeat, not fast, thrashy, but very bouncy, heavy songs. What was Pussy Whipped? The lyrics, again, they're very funny. Walk the dog, do the dishes, your lips are brown from kissing ass. Sorry guys, I can't make it. Next time I think I'll pass. Again, way too small. She wants to be involved with you in every little thing you do. Always has to always has to have a sense. It's obvious who wears the pants. Something like that. I should say almost any of these songs probably could be my favorite. Fist Banging Mania. Save that fist bang shit for bands like Motley Crue or When You Come See Us, We'll Dive on Top of You. Maybe a little bit of a dig at just, what then was called just heavy metal Motley Crue or glam metal, I'm not sure. No Turning Back. That one was never a favorite. Fuck the Middle East. There's too many problems. They just get in our way. We could surely live without them. They hijack our planes and raise our oil prices. We'll kill them all and have a ball and end their fucking crisis. Libya, Iran will flush the bastards down the can. Something. Then Israel and Egypt can live in peace without these dicks. Douche Crew, you're just a douche crew, you're just a douche crew, you're just a douche crew. Fuck you. Hey Gordy, give me a shot. Bleorg. The Ballad of Jimi Hendrix, just a few seconds long. Dun, 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 dun. You're dead. Diamonds and Rust. And there it is. So that's Speak English or Die, one of the greatest albums ever. For me, if you could include this in the Anthrax catalog, if you took all of Anthrax's album and could put Speak English or Die, and if you told me I had to rate them, I'd put this right under and very, very close to Among the Living. Yeah, definitely below, because Among the Living could have been my favorite album ever. But for me, this is better than any other Anthrax album, and I love Anthrax. And they did Bigger Than the Devil many years later, 15 years later, I think, in 99 or 2000. And it was good too. But yeah, with these lyrics, even though I butchered a lot of them, you can kind of tell where they were going with this album. And just one thing, maybe my favorite S.O.D story, and I'm not sure if I'm getting this right, because the last time, and maybe the only time I heard the story, S.O.D they put out a home video, a DVD, maybe in 2000 or 2001, after they toured for Bigger Than the Devil that I just mentioned. And there was a commentary on there. Scott Ian did commentary, and I can't remember if there was somebody else. And Scott Ian told a story, if I remember correctly, about Eddie Vedder. And I'm a massive Pearl Jam fan. I've said before, maybe even make the argument that Pearl Jam is my favorite band ever. So when Scott Ian and Eddie Vedder are together in a story, that's pretty cool for me, or Anthrax and Pearl Jam. So the story that Scott Ian told was he was with Eddie Vedder, and I don't know if they were somewhere, or they ended up being in a car, and the way that I remember it is Scott Ian played Speak English or Die for Eddie Vedder in the car, and Eddie Vedder just being blown away. I think he had never heard it before, and Scott Ian kind of introduced him to it, and Eddie Vedder he said it blew his mind. That was, I think, the story that Scott Ian told. So for me, if it's good enough for Eddie Vedder, it's good enough for me. And if Eddie Vedder loves this album, I surely love this album.